pro riding tip on how to pick your bike up when you're on the downside of a hill. Duck and laid the bike over, and unfortunately the bars were on the low side, so the wheels were above me. What I had to do was pull the front end around to pick the bike up, and basically what that does is it enables you to pick the bike up a lot easier. Kind of pull the bars around and swing them down to like the low side of the bike and pick the bike up, and it's just as easy as if you're picking it up off. You don't want to try to pick the bike up the hill. Then you're basically trying to push the bike above your head, and it's going to be really tough and you're going to waste a lot of time.
Mi mamma dice che se il corpo balanzando l'accelerazione e la decelerazione
U-turns, spinning the rear wheel is the neck jammed against your leg. Turn the bars in the same direction, then feed in power until the rear wheel starts to spin. The moment you lose traction, pull the bike around until it's pointed. Initially, your main fear will be that the bike will launch itself forward and get away from you. But done properly, it will behave itself. Make sure the bike is jammed against your leg and that you're pulling on the bars hard enough to encourage the rear wheel to slide sideways, as planned. Practice this on a flat, consistent fine gravel surface initially before trying it off-road and in rougher or less consistent conditions.
And use the terrain to your advantage if you're altitudinally challenged.
Once you feel you've mastered it, move on. Pivot turn is especially handy when you have minimal distance to turn around
with minimum energy and time wasted. Simply pull back on the bars till the rear wheel is firmly one leg on the ground, then apply enough throttle and clutch to momentarily wheelie the bike.
Flat ground. Ensure the front tyre digs just your balance. If you are perfectly balanced, very slight turns of the handlebars will be comfortable. Slowly ease your inside boot to take it up a level. Try the same technique if you're ready. Apply all these techniques, but coming to a stop without digging a small depression for the front tyre. This makes the balancing a lot harder, but at the same time, a running engine provides gyroscopic force that will help you to balance the bike. So in summary, the interesting point is that you can actually hold the engine revs up a little bit for more gyroscopic force to help you keep balanced. This, along with low tyre pressures, will make all of the above techniques easier. Full lock turns slow you down so that you can learn key cross-training skills before you dial in the speed again. Mastering balance and full lock turns in a range of conditions will transform the way you ride in gnarly terrain. Usually we tend to grip a dirt bike with our legs for stability, but putting pressure on the inside peg means the bike will naturally want to turn. It's very handy in slippery conditions as the front wheel isn't being forced to turn. Also, when it's leaning over, the bike can make an even tighter turn. In effect, you're steering with your feet, not the handlebars. More lean is possible by placing the outer foot on the outside of the peg. Keep your knees bent as this lowers your centre of gravity and allows your legs to soak up any bumps. Throttle and clutch and need to put a foot down. If you are standing on the bike, you can still paddle your way through by maintaining momentum and sticking your leg out for balance and even pushing off the sides of a deeper rut. When it gets too tough, the bike
Watch here how the bike and rider move independently yet together to maintain balance. Look ahead. A common problem in track through 90 degrees and track back and forth across the slope. The technique is similar to what we've already described, but in this case you remain seated on the bike and towards the rear to maintain traction.
Along, everything that he's doing here now is probably not the right way to do it, but it is what we all do. You can see front wheel slipping out because the front brake was put on too early, off angle, oh. Now that's a typical move. It's a typical move. That's what actually happens. You go around the off camber, gas it too much, your bike is not in the right position. So when you do give it gas, the back wheel just slips out. And then when you want to take off again, see what happens? You spin, you're out of control. The bike wants to wheelie. It's not good. He would do it. Once again, focus on energy efficiency. Standing up, eyes forward, looking where he's going. Front wheel tucks in, goes. Beautiful, beautiful. In control. Out. Now that leg movement and leg displacement. He's coming down, obviously bum a little bit over the bike, towards the back. Watch his legs and his body. You see that? See his weight? Look at his weight. There, well, okay, that was a bit of a foot. Naughty boy. But anyway. Right, there he comes again. I never say this enough. Stand when you're coming down. Look where you're going. Watch where the front wheel goes. Take the line wide. Wait. Did you see that? His body position, how his body swings out. That's an off camber. That's how you attack an off camber. That's the way you do it properly.
Ertsberg. Anybody who's watched Ertsberg on TV knows that there's always a double whammy, a two-stage hill climb. It's no good just doing one hill climb. People want two hill climbs so that you know straight after your first hill climb you've got something steep. Now Brian's done the Ertsberg 3 times. He's finished in the below that. And if there's anything he'll tell you, they've always got 2 hills in a row, sometimes 4 in a row. Now just looking at it now, you've got to know your commitment comes from the bottom. Your body position and commitment comes all from the bottom. You have to be in such control by the time you get over the first segment or part of the hill climb to prepare and set yourself up for the second stage of the hill climb. Now as you can see, Brian's coming forward there, he's lining up, he knows which path he's going to take, and he should around about now be looking forward. He's going to start, obviously he's got to follow the line first. He'll follow the line and then he'll start looking forward, knowing that there is no run-up as he turns. So as he does his turn there, he knows there's no run-up. And it's a slippery base that he's on. And he'll have to gas it, but in control. Because as you can see, the gradient becomes ever steeper. And looking at it over there, you can see it's a soft sand, it's slippery. So your body position means absolutely everything. And you've got to correct yourself knowing where the exact line is. Because everything from here is commitment. If you do not do it properly from here, you're going down. And if you don't get it right the first time, the second time is 200% harder because you are that much more tired. That's why in Ertsberg, most people only get to the top 6 or 7 parts of the race because they've done each climb 3 or 4 times. In step-up climbs and double climbs and even triple climbs, you've got to make sure that you get it right the first time. Now just look at that body position there. Look at, man, that's just masterful. Brian, no bike. You're following through there. You know, people think that a hill climb is always just a straight path up one ledge to another. It's not. You might possibly have to go through trees and obstacles and turn to the left and turn to the right. Follow a groove, go through a groove. Ever changing. Remember that it's never ever the same.
Well, on heavier enduro bikes, at least it should still get you to the smaller capacity bikes, as you are storing extra energy in the flywheel and the ground to provide a takeoff point, the ditch or gap kicker, which will ensure your bike
you gain confidence, progress to deeper gullies. In trials riding, this is simply dumping the clutch at a critical point to get extra, slipping their bike and having it land on it. But some key techniques, positioning, will see you cruising up rock faces. The key ingredient position, clutch effect, a wheelie is still being used. As sharp inclines get bigger, you can do deliberate ones to either clear obstacles or a foundation for learning rear wheel. There's a point of no return with stoppies, so don't be in a rush to find that balance. Move your body to the rear as you weight the pegs to compress the suspension. As the suspension rebounds, apply the front brake firmly, straighten your legs rapidly and transfer your body weight forward. Apply the front brake firmly, but don't grab that lever rapidly, or the front wheel can lock. The point as we see it is timing your body weight, moving up but you're still having trouble. There are a number of a steeper slope, but just make sure you've still got good traction for the front wheel. You can ride over a small drop-off, which will make stop that front wheel up. As you get higher, ease off that front brake if you think you're going to go over the handlebars. Try stoppies on a very steep drop-off or descent.
As you get confident, try to then move the rear end to the side when it is in the air by swinging your body to the side and again using the transfer of inertia. This is quite hard to do. By using this action of the body inertia transfer technique, when rebounding off a bump on a corner entry, you can swing the rear end around, therefore completing some of the required turn before you get to the actual corner. A higher corner speed is thus achieved as this provides a more gradual arc around the corner.
If we look at Brian's body language over here, as we've tried to explain in the actual talking and explanations on it, just look at the energy that's being used and also the possibility of losing your footing. It's just so inefficient. I know everybody loves that term when we use it, but it is inefficient.
Now get off the bike, pull the back around, pull the front around, pick the bike up, fall over sideways trying to do it. Whereas, holding the front brake, compressing the front forks, and pivoting the back of the bike around the front. We're using our core to pull the bike around.
A lot and exerts it a lot, but it makes it so smooth when you do that. If you notice his clutch and brake, always clutch and brake. Look at that, look at his back tire. Did you see that? I don't know if you quite saw that, but
afterwards, after 1 or 2 hours, explain it to me. The single for the lock, rise the front wheel with the clutch and jump with the bike.
So here comes the right single clutch technique and clutch.
Brake, rise the front wheel with the clutch, and when I hit the lock, I compress my bike and jump with the bike.
Clutch, second clutch and jump with. So when it's a bigger log, wide a single.
Then quickly release the clutch with a blip of the throttle to start a wheelie. Throw your body weight forward and back.
In this tour we will focus on the technical riding skills. We focus on the technical riding skills so I can take my skills to the next level.
Always in the morning when we go on.
going into the corner, Brian is showing us how we all do it. I most certainly did do it that way. Okay, I don't know what he's looking at in the bush over there, but it's just showing you, we average riders, we always do that because we think it's not an important part of the ride. Well, I did in any case. But when you start seeing how it's done correctly, like that, you can see how quick and efficient it makes it look. A very interesting thing is the standing up and coming into it, as Brian explained to us. That gives you such... Right, here we can see Brett attacking the berm, coming into apex entrance, where he is coming in at a nominal speed, finding the outer line of the berm, the high edge. At this point he is balancing his left foot peg to keep the tyre in traction to the upper part of the berm. You will also notice that he's got his right leg out, acting as a counterbalancer. It is not acting as a stop fall. It's not going to help him if he falls now. All it is a counterbalancer. And in this entire process, his vision or point of field must be between 10 and 15 feet ahead of him, looking where he's going and not looking right in front of him at the tyre. As he exits, his balance goes to the center of the bike, bringing his body into the attack positioning, getting the back tyre into full traction mode and accelerating out of the berm. And it's so logical when you listen to the explanation on where your eyes must be and how your weight must be distributed going into that. I think that's vitally important. As you're looking at Brian's eyes there, you can see exactly as he said, you've got to be looking out.
And when you get to about the apex, which is just at a sit down, you want to sit down as far, leg out nice and straight. If you leave your leg dangling, you're going to always go from the outside to the inside. When we get to the apex, we're going to sit all the way up front on the load up the suspension. And as you start getting towards the apex, you already want to start moving your head to where you want to go. Remember, you'll always bike the faster you can go through the corner. And I'm sure
sliding your rear wheel is a handy technique on relatively smooth corners. It's also a good idea to get used to the rear wheel sliding out, so you can control this in a relaxed way if it happens unexpectedly in slippery conditions. Hard-packed sand, such as on a beach, is ideal to learn in as it is very consistent and allows the rear wheel to dig in and reduce your chances of sliding out. Make sure your elbows are up and you are sitting well forward on the seat to get more traction on the front wheel and make steering easier. Your inside leg should be extended to maintain stability, and you can drop the foot down for control if the rear slides out too much. Have your boot angled upward to avoid it being caught by obstacles, or ideally you want to enter the corner wide, clip the apex, then exit wide as well to maintain speed and momentum. An experienced rider, as the bike becomes upright in the exit, you can feed in more and changing surfaces if again. A handy skill to work on is also the power slide while standing on the foot pegs. It can be very useful if you unexpectedly lose traction on a bumpy corner.
Position, c'est la position neutre qu'on a vue au départ. La position neutre, c'est-à-dire flexion des genoux, épaules, genoux et pointe de pied alignés avec la tête bien en avant. Ça, ce sont les points principaux que vous voulez avoir quand vous sautez. De plus, ce qui est très important, c'est d'avoir une vitesse constante. À partir du moment où vous gagnez de la vitesse, vous essayez de prendre la vitesse avant le saut et la balance à l'appel du saut. De plus, les jambes, c'est très important d'avoir une légère flexion des jambes et qu'il soit, quand on arrive le saut, pour essayer de passer à travers, garder une balance. Des genoux sur l'avant. Une légère, c'est-à-dire pas en premier et après le pneu arrière. Les jambes donnent un petit coup de gaz juste à la fin, c'est-à-dire avec les jambes, dès que vous sentez le trou, c'est là où il est très important de se mettre, d'être déjà prêt sur l'arrière et de contrôler le retour de l'arrière.
To take in small, easy steps. It's best to start on terrain that gives you a smooth take-off ramp, a flat top, then a gentle landing ramp. This way, no matter how badly out of shape you throttle as you take off, the front wheel will come up too high. Either have both wheels landing at the same time, just for the thrill of it. However, serious in your air time. There can be times you deliberately, as you hit the ramp, have your legs bent so that you can rapidly straighten them just before taking off. Apply a throttle just before takeoff to prevent the front wheel coming up too high.